Hey y'all, Claire Zinnecker, and I'm so excited to be here with y'all, especially because I know the hard work it takes to turn your vision into your dream home, your dream room, or your dream business. Creating a space doesn't mean breaking the bank. It doesn't take a lot of money to design a beautiful space. And so today I want to talk about my favorite tips to make a space your own without blowing your budget. I've had my own experience balancing big dreams on a tight budget, and I know that sometimes it's hard to wrap your head around. It is never about sacrificing quality. It's about being smart with where to stretch your resources so that you can make a big impact and never sacrifice style. Tip number 1, know where to splurge and where to save. I say for any client of mine with any budget that it takes a really good designer to be wise in where to put their money and where to maybe pull back a little. I think any room could be beautiful if you had an unlimited budget. It's about the knowing of where to invest your money and where to maybe save money or get something secondhand. Say in a space, you think about what really grounds the space. So in a living room, it's all about the sofa or maybe the beautiful rug or lighting in your room. You want to create those, think of those as investment pieces that you can maybe carry on into other spaces. They're the pieces that ground the room and you can design around them. So spend on a comfy sofa, a statement piece, something really lovely, and then save money on finding pillows from Etsy or finding side tables secondhand and refinishing them. There are so many ways to make your budget stretch and make everything look like you paid top dollar even if you didn't. Tip number 2, embrace the power of paint. A quick coat of paint can transform any space or any object. If you want a quick refresh, all you have to do is add a little color to your walls. Say, color drench the entire thing, paint trim, walls, and ceiling. Or you could do something a little more subtle and do an accent ceiling or just the trim around the windows for a fun pop, and it can change the whole canvas that you're working with. Tip number 3 is DIY with a purpose. If you've been following along on my journey at all, you know I love a good DIY, but from a DIY expert, let me tell you, make sure to not do DIYs that will drain you. You want to be really selective. There are so many simple DIYs that can create a huge impact. One of my favorite ones is finding a piece of furniture, say a side table or a dresser, secondhand, and stripping the paint off, bleaching it and making it feel French, or adding a coat of paint for a fun pop of color. It can go from a dresser that I found on the side of the road to the most beautiful changing table in my guest bedroom. It is so fun to do simple DIYs with a high level of impact. Another tip is to do a little DIY on your actual walls. Say it's a board and batten wall, or you add molding to your walls and make it a little bit more elevated, a little fancier. It can take a plain space and make it your own without breaking the bank. Completely transform the entire look of your room. Another tip, and one of my favorites, is to find vintage or thrifted art for your walls as opposed to buying new. Art can get so expensive, and when you are an art lover like me, you can really blow the budget very quickly on art. So what I like to do is go to secondhand stores, go to antique shops, and find new pieces of art. Or I'll find old frames and blow up an abstract photograph and put that in instead. Or I create my own DIY art with pressed flowers or something fun like that. Get creative, fill up your walls without breaking the bank. Another thing I really like to do is add layers of texture and softness. So think window treatments or throw blankets, decorative pillows, anything that can take your home and add that extra bit of comfort and personality to it. I love a good window treatment, whether it's a Roman shade or a drape. Another tip that is so important and one that I really love to do everywhere is take those things that are necessities and make them beautiful. For example, you have a shelf and You have to hide some of the ugly necessary things like scissors or a remote control. Instead of placing that on the shelf, hide it behind a basket. That not only elevates it by adding interest to your shelf, but it also hides all of the day-to-day things that we don't really want to look at all the time. It can eliminate clutter and make a space feel really styled and chic. Another really fun quick fix is to update your hardware, specifically in a kitchen or a bathroom, but you could do it with interior door hardware too. You take those kitchens that you're tired of, they feel outdated, and you just take them up a notch by adding new hardware. You don't have to drill new holes, and you can even do this in a property you don't own because it's so easy to turn it back to what it is if you ever move out. Another tip to really elevate your space is to mix in the old with the new. I love bringing in vintage pieces and mixing them in with, say, a new sofa. It can really take a space from bland to designed or designer by just adding in a vintage Ushak rug that you sourced on Etsy or a beautiful coffee table that you found vintage on Facebook Marketplace. All you have to do is mix and match those pieces and it can completely transform what was a boring basic room. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed my tips. If you have any, please leave them below in the comments. I'd love to hear more about them, and stay tuned for the next episode. If you like this channel, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks, y'all.